Hello and welcome to another Force 13 live event this evening, or this morning, or afternoon, wherever you are around the world. And we'll be talking about, of course, the usual Typhoon Noul, which is intensifying at this point. Last we heard, it had winds of 90 miles per hour. And we'll keep you up to date with that. We also have another storm which may be forming in the Western Pacific, and 60% chance of seeing possibly subtropical storm Anna forming in the Atlantic. Will be really interesting to see whether that happens. This evening we are joined by Devon. Hi.
Banger.
Also joined by Craig. Hello.
Hi.
Oh God, oh God. Okay, need to close the
You're playing me
YouTube.
in the background. That happens, doesn't it? Even I fall for that one. When we've all got the actual YouTube player open in our windows, and it starts playing when we start talking. But there you go. Anyway. Oh yes, we also have Andrew joining us, but he has an interesting picture which will send some people crazy. Um, so
What is it really? What's it supposed to be?
it's
It's an upside down doggy.
yeah. Viewers with sensitive eyes may not fare well with that.
Take it off.
Yeah. Anyway, let me take a look at the latest image of what we've got in the West Pacific right now. Here it is. So you can see these two systems. Now on the left-hand side, of course, we have Typhoon Noul, which is 90 miles per hour, Category 1 typhoon on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. On the right-hand side, we have a very nice-looking Invest 93W, which has been designated a tropical depression according to the Japanese Meteorological Agency. So I expect that we will see Tropical Storm Dolphin forming out of this in the not-too-distant future. In terms of where in the world are we? Well, you can see on this zoomed out image here, there's the Philippines on the left hand side. That's where Noel is approaching. That's where we'll see warnings popping up before too long. And following in its footsteps is what may become our next storm in the West Pacific. Now, in the Atlantic, we have this. This is on the National Hurricane Center's website. A 60% chance of formation of maybe a subtropical storm or indeed possibly a tropical cyclone. I expect the chances of that are less, but 60% chance of seeing Anna in whichever one of its forms in the next 48 hours and in the next 5 days, which is now medium on their classifications. It used to be high until the start of this year when they changed the classifications a little bit. So high is only 70% and above, but that's just a little technicality. 60% chance of seeing formation there in the Atlantic. Devon's showing us an image of the animation. You can see how the storm's left Yap, moving towards the west, north of Palau. I don't expect that there are any warnings on Palau, but I'll just check just in case. No, there are no warnings in effect anymore, and I
If
expect
anything, I'd see maybe a high seas warning.
possibly. Craig, what do you think of that development?
It's looking better than it was earlier today. But when I checked last check, actually to form it wasn't very well organized, but there was definitely the small hint of an eye dotting back and forth. That it still had very thin cloud layer over the top of it, but it was very noticeable on the visible image. I'm not sure whether it might pop out in the next 12 hours or so, possibly 24.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that Typhoon Noul definitely popping out at night sometime soon.
Now, personally, I've not seen much of this eye yet, but I mean, I mean, you can see the central core of the storm there quite clearly, but the eye has been rather reluctant to pop out until now so far. I expect it will at some point. Intensification is on the cards. JTWC say it will reach Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. I'm just trying to find the latest information from the Philippines, but I'm on the wrong page, so I can't find it yet. They've changed their website.
That's not good.
You gotta close some of
That's
your.
not a good idea, Nathan, being on the wrong website.
No, I'm not on the wrong website. I'm just on the wrong page on the website. I've completely lost where it was. Anyway, we'll get back to it. We'll get to that shortly. What were you saying, Devon?
I said you need to close some of your 92 tabs.
94, not so long ago. That's not the problem. Don't worry.
Um, I just popped up the water vapor imagery to Noel, and it still looks like the dry air to the north and west of the system is definitely still in place. So there's at least one inhibitor of extreme development at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, the storm have found the relevant page now. There's the Philippines' latest information on the storm. It is outside the Philippine area of responsibility, but that will be the next area to be impacted by the storm. No warnings in effect. It will be named Dodong as when it enters the area, and that's expected. They say tomorrow. It's probably today local time now because early hours of Thursday morning in the Philippines. And I expect that warnings will be going up shortly after that. 1,330 kilometers east of Surigao del Norte. Devon, are you looking at the Atlantic there?
No, I'm just trying to find a wide view of Pacific
Yes, indeed.
water vapor.
Um,
Okay.
Anyway, oh yes, I see it. Yes, very good. So there's the water vapor imagery. You can see that dry air towards the northwest of the storm, and indeed another area to the north of what may become Dolphin very soon, over the Mariana Islands. It's the West Pacific.
Dolphin's kind of out of picture to the south,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
just off the screen there.
But yeah, Noel's coming up quite well. The GFS has it kind of going through the center of the Philippines, while the ECMWF has it taking off towards the Big Island to the north.
We'll take a look at those models in the not too distant future on the show. I say that as if it will be in a few days, but in reality it'll be just a few minutes. In the meantime, I'd just like to point out this latest satellite imagery in the Atlantic. This is the latest of Invest 90L. It has been tagged as an Invest now. It wasn't yesterday. But during the course of today, it has been designated an Invest officially, and there it is, north of the Bahamas. And I think we need to get an animation of this actually, so we can see whether there's any rotation or anything of that nature going on there.
I'll work on that.
That's actually looking really healthy.
It's not looking too bad. I mean, for the beginning of May, you wouldn't expect to see any sort of systems forming just yet, but of course it has happened in the past, and no doubt will happen again in the future, but this may be our first storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. Any questions? Just let us know. Any comments? I'm going to read some out now. I noticed it was rather interesting that someone disliked a video before it started, which is rather interesting because how are you going to know what's coming on the video
Really?
you're about to watch? But you know, it's just the same when a lot of people. I noticed that once there were 3 or 4 people who liked the video before it began. I mean, obviously you are very pleased with that, but you've no idea what we're about to broadcast. In all fairness.
Probably like it. I don't know.
Jesper Hamlin says, what is the difference between a subtropical low and a regular low pressure? He says.
Okay, define. Depends on what you're calling a regular low pressure. Are you speaking of a tropical low pressure or an extratropical low pressure?
Well, I've no idea. It could be either.
But basically, what the subtropical system is, it's basically a hybrid of the two systems.
That's right.
Usually subtropical systems have some reliance on baroclinicity or changes in air pressure to actually feed its strength rather than just warm sea surface temperatures. And usually subtropical systems also have a cold core rather than a warm core.
Very well described. I mean, I wouldn't have done as good myself. I've just got the giggles a little bit because I didn't know wooden bowls could talk. You guys will find that comment completely random, but if you look in the comments, there is some of that going on.
Have they been eating too many randoms?
Yeah,
I don't think this imagery is coming up well, but
yeah, a little bit difficult to make things out.
Invest 90L is kind of where my cursor is. It's not coming up well on the Dvorak image, which kind of concerns me, but if we up the visual.
Cool.
Come on, chop chop. I don't have all day.
Stephen
Thank
Pete
you.
Shaw says, "Is there another potential invest trailing behind 93W? It looks like it." I noticed that as well. There is something lingering around the international date line. Let me get that imagery back
And
up again. Sorry, Craig.
did I not point? Did I not point that out to you last night? I think I did. I'm not.
Uh,
I can't remember. I
I'm not
think I did.
sure. Well, there's
I don't know.
lots of disturbed
Yeah.
activity in the whole area. Actually, there's this little
Yeah.
area of thunderstorms down here. There's this on the international date line. Half of
There's,
it's in the
there's another one right behind it.
And then into the eastern
Okay.
Pacific, you've got more. It looks like a few thunderstorms there as well. In South Central Pacific, I
All right.
expect that will be
Well,
coming.
I got up visible imagery for 90L.
This.
Basically, what I'm seeing here is what appears to have some type of either trough or frontal characteristics with the storm right now, which you'll have to lose in order to become designated as subtropical.
Mm.
Yeah.
It looks like beneath
It looks
the clouds that there's some type of low pressure trying to
circular.
form right around in that area on the last frame.
I don't know whether you might get a better close-up on this imagery here, showing the Gulf of Mexico, but you can see the system on the right-hand side.
It looks like there's definitely not well defined, but some slight low level circulation in it. Not
If I
not
can
enough
pull-
really to designate it as a tropical depression.
Just taking a look at this
There's definitely some.
imagery alone, the center appears to be right about in here. I can see at least some type of circulation beneath the convective cloud layer. So there is definite circulation in this. Basically, the question is, can it become a closed-off low-pressure system? Can it get rid of its frontal characteristics? And if both the questions to that are yes, it will more than likely become a subtropical system.
How interesting. I've got the models here on my screen now. First of all, the CMC. Let's see what they're predicting. Oh, we're at the end of the run. Let's go back to the start, shall we? There you can see at the very beginning there, that's as of 12 o'clock. So what's that? 8 hours ago when this was initialized. So you can see how the storm's expected to linger in the area, gradually move towards the north, and CMC, as it quite often does, predicting probably the strongest of all of the models. And then it appears a landfall just about in South Carolina near the border, north with North Carolina, and then moving north and then dissipating. Still traceable just as it leaves the coast of Virginia by the looks of it. That's the CMC. ECMWF. Let's see what that has. Oh yes, there it is again. And that also, so first of all it turns towards the northeast, but then it turns back towards the coast, and then eventually looks like a possible landfall near the outer banks of North Carolina, and then moving rather rapidly towards the northeast and merging with another low further north by the looks of things. The GFDL is also available now because it's been tagged as an invest. So you can see on this image what to look out for. The blue areas there, that shows what they would say tropical storm force winds. So the dark blue, that is. So little pockets here and there, not to be taken for every word, I guess, but looks like just near the landfall in South Carolina, and then moving back out to sea, and then moving back towards the outer banks of North Carolina, and then moving off towards the northeast. So they all have similar but different scenarios, I suppose. The GFS as well takes the storm pretty much on a course towards the north or northwest, and then a little bit further west, stalling off the coast of South Carolina for some time by the looks of things, and then what's it going to do? Gradually moving towards the north and very little left of it by the time it does that, and then dissipating over land. HWRF, which in my experience I think blows things up a little. I'm not sure that tropical storm conditions are occurring in a big swathe of Florida right now, so that's probably wrong. But we'll take a look anyway. And that's predicting tropical storm force winds pretty much the whole way into a landfall in South Carolina, and then gradually moving towards the northeast. Might end up in your neck of the woods, Devon. Then finally the NavGem.
We actually need the rain here, so.
The NavGem predicting the storm moving towards the northeast and then a landfall by looks of things in southern North Carolina. That makes sense. That's what the Atlantic models say.
Another thing is, I don't know if you went over this because I kind of wasn't paying attention, but since it's close enough to land and it's not so far out that it's unattainable now, we can also do the NAM model.
I'd just like to answer a question before that.
Yep.
A Wood Bowl says, are forces over a Category 5 possible?
Or what?
It's Category 6. Well, there is no official Category 6.
Wow. Well, if you take the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale, it usually about every 15 to 20 miles an hour advances a new category. So I guess you could consider a Category 6 storm something with 175 mile per hour winds.
And it's interesting because, of course, there's more than one scale as well. And on the Australian scale, Category 5 starts at, I think it's 120 miles per hour or something like that. It's remarkable.
Yeah, but that's also 10-minute sustained winds.
Yeah, but it's still not 161 minutes sustained, is it? I thought I was around 140 mark.
Right. So, yeah, it also depends on... Yeah, that all depends on what scale you use, but... The Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale isn't like the old Fujita scale, which went all the way up to F12 or Mach 1.
Shit.
It's simply just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So anything greater than 157 miles an hour is designated as Category 5.
Of course, you can always make your own homemade scale. Where you can
you can do that too.
all you want.
You can do that too. Which I'm happy that you bring that up because I decided to plug in Noul's things into my scale, and it came out to be a Stage 4 cyclone out of 10.
So what does that mean?
Well, it means that it has some destructive potential behind it. It comes out to be 20 points, which means that if it moved over land in an averagely populated area, it could cause about $500 million in damages at this moment.
No, that's fairly
Maybe even
precise.
a bit more.
Let me just point out that the latest update from 6 p.m. UTC has come in on Typhoon Noul, and the word is that the storm has not intensified in the past 6 hours and remains at 90 miles per hour, 1 minute sustained, which is still a Category 1 typhoon on the Saffir-Simpson wind scale.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Let me get... Okay, here's what the NAM is saying for this storm, and pretty much... And it's going to lose its frontal characteristics about 30 hours from now, come up to 1,008 millibars, maybe even down to 1,004, then meander off of North Carolina, South Carolina coast, and this only goes out to 84 hours, unfortunately. As far as winds, if I can get those loaded up. There we go.
We'll also show the shear maps and the sea surface temperature soon as well.
The orange, the dark orange, shows tropical storm force winds, and red as well. And there's a pretty good size of tropical storm force winds towards the late end of this run. So
That's
There's a
fine.
possibility that this thing might be named Anna. There's a possibility that this might just be STD1.
Well, 60%.
Well, yeah,
My,
60%
my, I mean,
chance of
my interpretation, blah blah blah. My interpretation is that the 60% is 60% of it being named Anna. Is that right, or just a tropical depression or
it
subtropical depression?
just 60% chance means 60% chance of it becoming subtropical. As of right now, from what I'm seeing for most of the models, it doesn't have it getting much stronger than 40 miles an hour, which
Yeah,
is minimum tropical storm. It's
that's
going to be
pretty clear.
borderline, if anything.
That's pretty clear. Currently, the winds inside the storm right now are around 30 miles per hour. Let me just get a latest visible from Navy, which I guess has a zoom in on this. Actually, we've got some breaking news apart from that. We'll come back to that in a moment. But I hear that tropical depression 7 has formed in the West Pacific now. You can see it on the Navy here. It's been named numbered Tropical Depression 7 according to the US Navy. I expect that it'll be named by Japan not too far from now, in the next few hours, I imagine. It's looking pretty good. One thing that may stop it is that it isn't particularly strong yet. It's only 25 miles per hour. Of course, the tropical storm intensity only starts at 40. But that is now 7W, the 7th storm to become a tropical depression in 2015 in the West Pacific.
And although this is a little bit off topic, there also happens to be an elevated tornado threat over northern Texas and central Kansas today.
No, we don't mind covering tornadoes either. Here's the latest Navy image of the storm. Now, is that a central part of the storm there, is it?
It would probably be right about where the two convective clouds come together. Appears to be where the actual low pressure is.
So do you think
the low needs to get closed off definitely before anything? So.
Do you think that might be our future center of circulation there?
What?
This little swirl here. You think it might be our future center of circulation there? Long silence. Has Devon died? Where are you, Devon?
I don't know. Devon.
I think he's on my screen. I think he's just.
I think he has.
Devon's malfunctioned. How very unfortunate. I enjoy his commentary. It's me.
Yeah.
What do you think of that latest news on Noul? It's not intensified.
It might be one of those late developers, you know, ones that look like they're not going to develop at all, just stay where they are, and then almost quickly they shoot right up to where they were supposed to be.
Right.
But no, at the moment I don't see Category 4 coming out of it. I don't see gusts of 172 miles per hour. It's not 750.
Well,
I don't see it.
JTWC was saying, wasn't it, on the latest forecast? So this was earlier. Now JTWC predicted that the storm would reach 90 knots. That's 105 miles per hour by midnight tonight. So 5 hours from now. JTWC expected it to reach 105 miles an hour. I'm not sure that will happen because it remains at 90, but it could. Because Western Pacific storms can intensify very quickly. Devon's back. Welcome back to Planet Earth, Devon.
Yes, thank you. I got lost in this whatever.
You're in deep
the internet decided to give me the boot.
You know, you still in space, Devon. There's stars in the world.
I'm seeing stars. I was just talking about.
Should have worn my
Noul, which is expected to, was expected by JTWC to reach 145 miles an hour. Questions as to whether that may still happen.
25 knots? Jeez.
Questions as to whether that may still happen because the storm has not intensified as far as we know in the last 6 hours. So we'll see what happens. And the formation of a new tropical depression This one here, 7W, it may be named Dolphin at any time. And that, by the way, is just south of Pohnpei in Micronesia, so perhaps there may be some warnings being hoisted on that island as well, if that is indeed Pohnpei. I think it is, and indeed for Chuck further towards the west. I think I'm in the right place. I think that's Pohnpei, just north of the storm. Oh yes, there's Causeway further towards the east. So possibly warnings for those areas. Indeed, the models had it that the that Dolphin would reach Guam and strike there as a really strong system. That's what we were showing on the models yesterday. Don't know what you think about that happening, Devon.
You know what? I just came up with another thing I just realized, and I keep forgetting, is that these storms.
These storms? Oh, you broke up a bit there.
I'm sorry. My internet is deciding to go dodgy today.
Your technology should be sorry, not yourself.
Technology!
Yes, indeed.
But anyways, another possible inhibitor of the development of these storms is that they're forming rather close to the equator.
7W.
Obviously, there isn't as much Coriolis force at the equator as there would be a little bit north.
Well, 7W is at just 4.5 degrees north, which is pretty.
Yeah, that's space that you might as well be straddling the equator at that.
But one of the big storms, it was either Bopa or Haiyan. I expect it was probably Bopa because that was further south, formed at a similar latitude, I think.
Yeah, the storms forming at that latitude, they typically aren't able to get enough rotation behind them to actually become significant.
Well, I don't know if you ever read about Typhoon Noul, I think it was, in 2001, the West Pacific, forming at 1 degree north, 1.4 degrees north.
I do remember seeing that.
Yeah, it became a typhoon, I think.
I know Ivan became a major hurricane at south of 10 degrees north as well. Crazy.
All right, then, let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures. Welcome back, Craig, by the way.
Yeah, it was a complete and utter audio disaster. It just cut out. Yeah, it just cut out. I'm not kidding. It just cut out.
Okay, here's the sea surface temperatures in the West Pacific then. On your right-hand side there, you can see the sea surface temperatures where my magnifying glass is hovering around here. Yes, around here is where Typhoon Noul is right now. Warmer waters towards the northwest. See that little area there that's 30 degrees plus, and indeed off the coast of the Philippines as well. And if the storm moves through and moves towards the northwest there in the Taiwan Strait, the sea surface temperatures are warm enough as far as Taiwan, and also as far as the southernmost Japanese islands as well. Miyako.
That's why they're expecting Noul to blow up right off the Philippine coast. So.
Yeah, quite possibly. Looking towards the Indian Ocean, there may be a chance of formation there. That sometimes happens in May. Very warm waters there to be taken advantage of. And in the Atlantic, where our possible subtropical may be forming, just north of the Bahamas, you can see sea surface temperatures are marginal at best. Actually, they're not even 26 degrees at the moment, so I expect that won't improve. So we're probably not looking at a tropical system based off that evidence alone.
Yeah. That's the thing about subtropicals, is that they can exist all the way down to, I think, 22 centigrade before they start turning extratropical.
Subtropical, did you say?
Yeah, subtropical can usually exist down to like 23, 22 centigrade.
That's right. Of course, 26 degrees is generally the threshold for a tropical storm. Pretty warm, really. I wish we had 26 Celsius waters. Okay.
Yeah,
like I said, that Gulf Stream is really helping you up there in the UK.
Look at them, 9 or 10 degrees off our coasts. Ouch! I'm not going in there.
That is outrageous.
Yeah.
It's only 9 or 10 degree water off the New Jersey coast right now, and we're probably going to be going down there to the beach in the next 2 weeks.
Well, how about that? But I suppose you're more likely to get very warmer, much warmer on land temperatures, so it makes you sort of want to jump into some cold water, right?
Yeah, not this time of year.
Yeah, what sort of temperatures are you getting there at the moment?
Um, we should be in and around the 70s in Fahrenheit, but I know yesterday it was in the 80s. Day before that was in the 80s as well. Today it was like low 70s.
I can tell you, me and Craig would be wading into the waters when it turns 80 degrees, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, wait, we'd be flying straight back out of it because it's too warm there as well.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, the East Pacific very warm as well, around, what's that, 30 degrees there, maybe even warmer than that in
Yep.
one or two places. The Atlantic around the Caribbean I also should mention as well, certainly warm enough in that whole region. So if a storm finds itself down there, then it will have a fairly good chance of development into half of the Gulf of Mexico as well.
It's just May. The Atlantic's just warming up.
I'll also look at the wind shear now as well. Here's the latest map for the West Pacific. So there's actually higher amounts of wind shear building towards the southwest and towards the west of the storm. And that coupled with perhaps that dry air towards the northwest could be the reason why the storm hasn't intensified in the last few hours. Any comment on that?
Yeah, and again, there's relatively no wind shear just off the coast of the Big Island in the Philippines. I don't know what the island
Luzon.
name is. So, excuse me for not knowing Eastern geography.
Devon's not used to tracking the West Pacific, to his credit. He's mainly our Atlantic weather watcher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't name the individual islands and the Cape Verde and the Azores and whatnot, but
Oh, I see. And also worth pointing out on this map as well, where my cursor is hovering, well, where is it hovering? Around here, actually, is where Tropical Depression 7W is forming, or maybe a bit further south, actually.
yeah.
Wind shear is looking pretty favourable in terms of heading forward and decreasing where it's higher towards the south there, so that's interesting to note as well.
Well, there's that one pocket of moisture and one pocket of basically no shear. As long as they stay on that, they'll be decently good to go.
North Atlantic wind shear is interesting. You can see quite clearly where the subtropical, well, soon-to-be subtropical cyclone may be, with that little low pocket of shear to the east of it there. I mean, apart from that, it's a hurricane graveyard, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that does not look favorable at all.
Craig?
There's a pocket of relatively low
Nah,
shear
Devon.
in Azores, but I don't think we're going to be seeing much development out that way this early in the season.
Clearly not. Craig?
Devon, that is favourable. I don't know what you're talking about.
Favourable?
Favorable?
Joking.
Yeah, I'm sure you're... Yeah.
There was sarcasm in that.
Yeah, I
Much sarcasm.
I couldn't see the sarcasm quite clearly dripping from you, Craig.
God.
From every word you speak there. East Pacific, for those who are interested as well. Another hurricane graveyard, really. Really high.
Yeah, that doesn't look pretty either. So,
oops, pressed the wrong one. Indian Ocean. If we possibly may see some Indian development, I can't get my words out today. Indian development, maybe. Low amounts near the equator, but higher amounts further towards the north.
okay. Going back to what I was saying earlier, there's a decent chance for tornadoes across north central Texas, central Oklahoma, and central Kansas. And if I'm seeing this correctly, it looks like that there is a tornado warning for. There is a tornado warning out.
Well, here we are shifting gears.
For Lincoln, Kansas.
Yeah, Lincoln County in Kansas is actually, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Lincoln, moving north at 35 miles per hour.
That's
And using their language there, it
wedge.
sounds pretty bad. A large, extremely dangerous, and potentially deadly tornado is on the ground.
confirmed large.
Yep,
Wow.
sounds like a wedge.
Okay.
So
Sounds like a wedge.
Well, the language that they're using there, I'm surprised they don't have an emergency out for it.
quite possibly. It's extremely dangerous. So obviously we'll be keeping you up to date on anything that happens there. You can see a tornado watch. Sorry?
It's north of Interstate 70.
I wouldn't know. Tornado watch in effect from North Texas.
I clicked on the wrong.
A big line north, really, from North Texas to southern, whatever that state is. I don't even know. U.S. states. Nebraska.
Nebraska. I hate Nebraska. Just don't worry about it.
No, come on.
No.
Tell us about it. We don't really know.
Because of Nebraska. Okay.
Is it because Nebraska comes before Pennsylvania in the alphabet?
No, it's because there was this one time where I was quizzed on all the capitals and all the states, and I missed one, and it was.
I wonder which one that one
It
might
was
be.
Oh yeah.
Nebraska, and I guessed Omaha like a tool, and then another time it was. I believe it was asking what's the state between Texas and Kansas, and I said Nebraska.
D-Land says... Sorry?
I'm just taking a look at the radar loop for this Warren cell, see if there's anything impressive going on.
Alright, then let me just answer Dean Lands first, though. I looked at the models, and around 2 weeks out, it looked like a system could form in the East Pacific, but the model cuts off, so I can't see what happened. Well, first and foremost, if it's 2 weeks out, then it's quite possibly far-fetched, but I'll take a look anyway.
They're probably like one of the systems that I explored, which was as you classified, was a tropical disturbance. Well, tropical disturbance.
It would also be pretty helpful if they could link the source where they saw that as well, maybe.
Yeah, but they didn't really come to much as we all seen, really.
Yeah.
But this one in the Atlantic, well.
What do you think, Craig?
I don't really see that either becoming.
There we go.
I wouldn't really see it becoming anything tropical, especially the winds year around it.
I'm not really.
Just
well, I saw those sea surface temperatures. I don't think it'll become tropical. I'm not seeing anything in the East Pacific.
All right. It's actually coming up really good on this radar. What we're taking a look here is at storm relative velocities here. If I remember correctly, green is going away from the radar and red is going towards it, but I could have that backwards. The thing that you need to know here is that green opposes red, and when there's a very strong green and a very strong red couplet together, that's usually a very good signature for a tornado. And there's this green-red couplet pretty much all the way through the relative velocities run. And especially right here, you can really see that there's very strong rotation within this storm. So I'd definitely be concerned for anybody that's within this warned area.
Even says he was looking on a NOAA site. Well, I looked at that, but I really didn't see anything on it there, Dean. So there's a tornado warning in effect. I'm just going to be looking out for any tornado reports as well in that area. Do you have any information, Devon, on what sort of area is it? Is it built up? Is it rural? What sort of area is it?
I'm going to guess that it's probably in a more of a rural area.
They usually are, to be fair, aren't they?
Yeah. Normally the big ones don't really form in built-up areas.
It's
before
not.
outside them. Then
Tornado can form wherever it wants to.
Now, it has been reported, it was 15 minutes ago, a wedge tornado reported on the ground. That's confirmed.
Oh, wow.
a large wedge. That's the
It
second wedge this season.
looks like right now the only town of
Oh, the
any
third.
kind in the middle of this thing is Lincoln, and it's
Lincoln
dead
itself.
smack in the middle of the warning, so...
Blimey. Well, yes, it was reported over Lincoln. That's what it said on the National Weather Service there. And by the sounds of things, if it's over Lincoln, then surely it's...
Lincoln population 1,300.
surely it's affecting the town if it's over it. That's my interpretation of it. It can't be a good situation anyway. We'll bring you any
No.
news if it
The
comes.
next town that it might approach, it might graze Barnard, but I doubt about that. Will
Looks very
be
tiny, Bernard.
Beloy, Kansas.
Oh, that versus a large wedge tornado, depending on if it's an EF3 to EF5. If it's an EF5, it's screwed.
Just
Have
because
you-
it's a large tornado doesn't necessarily mean that it's a
Yeah,
strong
an
one,
EF5.
obviously. But all right,
Yeah.
so yeah, Beloy appears to be the next target up to Route 14. There might be some small towns
Right.
north of Route 14, but it looks like that the tornado might just be going north on Route 14, and the next one would be Beloy, Kansas, which has a population of nearly 4,000. So that's just further things. The signature on the radar is absolutely impressive.
We'll keep you up to date on that. In the meantime, let me remind you, any new people watching who've just tuned in, what the situation is in terms of our tropical weather, because that's what we predominantly cover, even though we do like to cover tornadoes now and again. We do. I'm actually getting into it a bit,
Yeah.
tornadoes, but obviously they can be very destructive. We want to keep people safe out there if we possibly can. Any effect that we have is obviously positive. Typhoon Noul has not intensified in the past few hours. It remains a Category 1 typhoon with winds of 90 miles per hour. That's around, around 150 kilometers per hour, something like that, and is headed towards the west-northwest. Yap is now out of the woods. Palau is pretty much out of the woods as well. Not sure if they even entered the woods, to be honest. And the Philippines is, of course, next, and warnings may arrive in the Philippines in a matter of hours, or probably a bit more than a few hours, in the next 24 hours, I'd say. We also have now Tropical Depression 7W in the Western Pacific. It has been numbered. As far as I know, it's not yet been named by the Japanese Meteorological Agency. It's located just south of Pohnpei in Micronesia, and it's headed probably in the same direction. And of course, we're also keeping eyes on our tropical or possible subtropical or tropical system in the Atlantic. There it is, Invest 90L. That's one of the latest images from NextSat. There's probably a new one in now. Yes. There's the latest image of Invest 90L in the Atlantic, just north of the Bahamas, east of the southeast United States. Devon?
I'm just taking a look at the, again, I'm just taking a look at the tornado warnings. I kind of got distracted there.
Of course. Well, any questions to tell us and to ask us, rather, and try and answer. I'm just going to look at them now. Stephen P. Shaw says the waters are certainly warm enough, and a May storm is not out of the question there. I think he's speaking about the East Pacific. Hurricane Amanda reached Category 5 last May. Did it? I thought it only peaked.
I believe, yes, it was a Category 5 in May, I believe. I believe it was. It was a very small storm, but I believe it did reach, no, it was very powerful.
I think it was officially 155 mile an hour, Category 4. I mean, it was questionable. In my opinion, to be honest, it did look like a Category 5 storm, but I think officially it was only a Category 4.
Another one of those 155 ripoffs.
Well, yeah.
Making sure that they keep the number of Category 5 storms lower.
I'll let you say that rather than me, Devon. But yeah, and Christina came.
Yeah, Hurricane Amanda officially 155.
Yeah, indeed.
Second earliest major hurricane.
Pretty impressive, nonetheless. We're just waiting for Craig to return. Hi, Craig.
This audio is ridiculous. It just got out again.
Oh, never mind.
It's
Nothing you can do about it.
No, but what were you wanting to ask me?
I can't even remember now. There's another tornado warning in effect further south
Good
in
God.
Oklahoma, by the looks of things on my map. Yes, there's a tornado warning for southeastern Caddo County and southwestern Oklahoma, where a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Apache.
Yeah, it just came up. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, there it is on there.
Check this one out now.
We've gone full tornado in the past 20 minutes of the show.
Yeah. I'd be like, oh, there's an elevated tornado risk, and then, oh, apparently there's a destructive tornado on the ground. So tornado warning in effect here. So
Steven, that's a very good way to say it. Category 4.9.
Looks like it's just radar indicated location.
Yeah, they do that as a precaution, I suppose, don't they? Locations impacted include.
Usually there's a very strong rotation signature, though.
Well, there it is.
That's what I'm about to look at right now.
It also says on that locations impacted include Anadarko, Apache, Cyril, Verdon, Cement, Northern Lake, or is that Northern Lake Ellsworth, or is it just Northern Lake and Ellsworth? I think it's Northern Lake Ellsworth and Stecker.
Alright, I'm gonna have to turn up. Apparently, I'm still screen sharing. I didn't even realize that.
Oh, yes, you are.
Okay, so again with the red and green couplet on the latest radar imagery is very strong just north of Lawton. So, looks like the storm appears to be moving off to the north-northeast and could potentially cut across the southern suburbs of Oklahoma City if it can make it. Of course, tornadoes typically don't make it that far, but...
Now, isn't the longest ever tracking tornado, was that like 125 miles or something like that?
Oh, it's much longer than 125 miles.
Longer, you say?
I think... How was it? Because the tri-state tornado of 1925 cut across 3 states. And I know some ridiculous 3-figure number, like up into the 600s.
Oh my word. One tornado did that?
Well, there's some speculation saying that it wasn't one tornado, but...
You just wouldn't know if it was so back in time, would you? Because the observations must have been pretty sparse.
It cut across a decent amount. Let's see here.
Deadliest in US history. Craig, you're dying to speak. I can hear it.
Yeah.
Duration 7 hours.
Sorry, Craig.
I probably agree with the tri-state tornado not being just being more than one, because you wouldn't really know about a large tornado going about 600 to 700 miles.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah, you wouldn't really see that. If you want to go probably, well, if you had to go to probably the recent longest, you'd probably have to go back to May 3rd, 1999. The Oklahoma EF5.
Don't ask me, I have no idea.
They didn't start rating tornadoes on the Fujita scale to 1974.
Why did they change it anyway?
What?
I don't know.
Change it.
They changed it after
They
changed it
changed
during the
the
Green tornado.
Fujita scale
That's
to the
why.
enhanced Fujita scale. Because what they said was is that the wind speeds that were initially put on the Fujita scale did not match the damage caused by it. So initially, F5 was, I think, 278 to 318 miles per hour.
That's right.
And apparently the winds required to produce that kind of damage is only 200 miles an hour. So now
Yes.
EF5
Well,
is
hurricanes can do it,
200
can't they?
miles an hour plus.
Mhm.
Hurricanes can do it. And speaking of which, I think Noel's eye is starting to come out.
Yay! No, can
Hi,
see.
Noel. Nice to see you. Looks a bit jagged.
Yeah, that's the latest image from.
It has an eye on you.
Yes.
Oh, it has my eye on me.
From
Oh, well.
FDR, that's the
Yeah,
latest image of
it has. No, wait, it doesn't just have its eye on you. It has its eye on all of us.
Okay, let me pull it up on the Dvorak imagery and see what I can see if I see the same thing as you.
There it is. That's a good healthy eye. So what that probably could mean.
I suppose you could have seen it a little bit on that earlier image there as well.
Yeah.
Maybe the eye starting to come out, but it's certainly looking better towards the.
It looks like an eye
Oh,
wall is trying to appear. It looks like an eye is trying to appear. Probably could agree with you.
Interesting. Devon, what's your take?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm starting to maybe see somewhat of an eye on this.
Yeah.
Something there, isn't there?
If you can.
That. It looks like it's trying to center. It looks like an eye is actually trying to appear.
Oh, I hit the wrong thing again.
Yep.
Okay, let me get
Probably
the longitude off of it.
We're all
There
terribly
are some
excited that there might be an eye here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just
There are
on
some
the
spectrums that
frame
you won't
there,
see the eye.
there's definitely some sort of circulation. The eye is definitely trying to come out. You might see something other infrared imagery. This is the IR that I'm most seeing. So
Visible imagery has arrived for that storm over the international date line. That's what it looks like. That isn't even an invest or anything. That's just a cluster of thunderstorms at the moment. But first light has fallen upon that system and will be also falling upon our other two Pacific storms very soon, I should hope. Probably not during our broadcast, unfortunately.
yeah, that's okay. And speaking of broadcast, we only have like what 7 minutes left now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 7 minutes left.
What's going to be the plan for the rest of the day?
Well, we may well be doing a game show this evening. I don't know what you two guys think about that. Force 13 Extra, which is our sort of subsidiary channel now, which is what we've got a whole team here at Force 13 now, which is really pleasing. There's about 16 of us on the Skype chat room, but we also have several people who maintain the Force 13 Extra YouTube channel. It was built for the Force 13 team to upload their own videos, and we're doing our game show again, hopefully this evening if Devon and Craig are here, because they're going to be tonight's contestants.
I should be here for the start of it. Don't know if I'll be here for the end of it.
Devon, that's the most important part.
No! Come on, Devon!
I'm supposed to come here at around 5:30, so.
Right, maybe we'll start it just 10 minutes early and push it back a bit, just for you.
Okay, sounds good.
Yay!
Yeah, indeed. If you'd like to be part of the team, or indeed to take part in the game show, well, please let us know, and I'm sure we'd be very pleased to have you on board in one way or another.
If you join the team, I'll let you feel my mustache.
What?
What?
If that hasn't put you off, send me an email at force-13@hotmail.co.uk.
I'm not actually going to do that. I'm not mean.
Or you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter, Force13 in text on Facebook and Twitter, and you can Speak to me
No,
on
no.
Skype. Add Fool13. That's the numerals that time. Fool13 on Skype is my name. Yes, I am quite a fool, and so's Devon.
Yeah, I'm not the
Chat room
sharpest
there
tool
as
in
well.
shed.
Yeah, our dedicated chat room on there.
If you join a dedicated chat room, you get to speak to Waniel.
Yes, he's unfortunately
Oh,
not been able to
God.
make it this evening, but it's brilliant contacting him.
Yeah, just make a run for it when it bores you.
My daily
He's a lot of-
entertainment.
He's a lot of fun on the text. Yeah, I'm sure he won't mind us saying that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Long
He's
side.
my daily entertainment.
Anyway, just to recap,
When he does something stupid.
you've just joined this nonsense in the last few minutes, just to let you know. Typhoon Noul is headed towards the Philippines and has not intensified in the last 6 hours. It's got winds of 90 miles per hour and is headed towards the west-northwest. Tropical Depression 7W has formed in the Western Pacific as well. Let me just actually check on the JMA website whether it's a TS or has been named yet. But no, still TD they're saying. And I'm not really surprised either because it's still only 25 miles per hour, which is quite a way off tropical storm intensity. And of course, the Atlantic system as well, which we're also watching. I don't know why I closed the tab. I should open it again.
Nothing yet about the tornado in Lincoln, Kansas.
Maybe nothing happened. We'll see.
Probably.
There's another view of that Atlantic development. Latest image. What do you guys think of that?
It looks like it's starting to get its act together. I'll have to take a look at it tomorrow, and if it looks better than it does now,
I think that's
I
what
think
we'll
it's
all be
got a
doing.
good shot at. It's got a good shot at becoming subtropical. I mean,
Yeah.
I know all the models are basically saying it's going to turn subtropical. I'm kind of doubting it at the moment, but tomorrow, if it looks a little bit better,
yeah,
I'll say yeah.
I'm agreeing with Devin here because that does look like it is getting its act together. It's like it could probably start rotating over the next. What would you say, Devin? Probably 48 hours, probably. Would you say that 09L could start, 90L could start rotating?
We have no idea. The tornado warning in Nebraska has shifted northwards. A confirmed tornado was located 4 miles northwest of Cyril, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. That was 5 minutes ago. And tornado warning. Oh, sorry, that's the other place, isn't it? Oklahoma. Sorry, the one further down, southeastern Mitchell County in north central Kansas. Tornado warning. Which state are we in now? Northeastern Lincoln County.
I don't know.
I'm all confused
Lincoln
now.
County.
A tornado was located. Pardon me. A tornado was. The tornado has it gone now or not? Who knows? But the severe thunderstorm that did produce a tornado is over Barnard, 9 miles northeast of Lincoln, moving north at 40 miles an hour. So there's 3 tornado warnings, isn't there?
Jeez.
Mitchell County in north central Kansas and Oklahoma, southeastern Caddo County. So tornado threat is certainly pretty rampant in the US at the moment. But it's about time that we wrapped up this evening. Just checking the comments to see if there's any last minute questions. Nope. So I think our job here is done.
Oh.
How about that?
Alright.
That's unusual.
As far as Asherville and Simpson, they're very rural, small communities. So it looks like the tornado right now, other than its passage through Lincoln, Kansas, is moving through rural areas.
Well, since I started the show, it's gone dark here. Have you noticed?
Yeah, I have actually. It's actually gone a lot darker. Yeah. I'll have to play it.
Yeah. In any case, we'll be back with more updates on Typhoon Noul and all the rest of it tomorrow evening. I expect around the same time. Look forward to the 4:13 game show. I expect we're going to start at 10 to 10 local time. That'll be 8:50 UTC, 4:50 Eastern. Until then, that'll be all from us. Follow the social pages, Facebook and Twitter, for more of the latest updates. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye. You gonna say goodbye, guys?
Yeah. Bye.
See you later.
Sorry, Nathan.
No, you're welcome.
Sorry.